Well, I must say this is almost exactly what I wanted. It was hard to achieve. The lighting is perhaps a bit, how do you say, dull, but I will brighten it enough. Oh, it's tough being royalty. I am delighting to see you. Allow myself to introduce myself. First, I will get you a little closer. I know you want to be. I am Elena Andreni, the Countess of Hungary, and I'm here filling in for Teal to bring you a very real story of suspense, tensions, murder, and intrigue. Whether you be believing me or not, it is in fact so suspenseful. I am feeling hot. Whew. But with the little time I've got before the other passengers start arriving, I will deliver to you this inviting, albeit terrifying, story of who done it. And the passengers on board all seem to have secrets stashed. So, I will let you in on some of them, and you'll have to do your own investigating. But I will not keep you waiting. Allow me to present a very intense mystery turned into poetry entitled A Most Mysterious Ride. Step inside. Welcome to the Orient Express, where the fittings are from Paris and the feather pillows are simply the best. Everyone is so well dressed they're unsuspecting when put to the test. Who will confess and who will start to sweat when they are questioned? Whose elaborate ruse will best use the power of suggestion? These murderous intentions are not mentioned until the web is spun. Everyone seems guilty before the deed is even done. Who is really on vacation and who is on the run? A one Mr. Samuel Ratchet, a self-proclaimed import-export sort, is receiving death threats from a mysterious source. He orders poor Mr. McQueen around with brute force. He's shady as all get out and shows little remorse for his secret past. Hector McQueen, who is in charge of all Ratchet's affairs, seems to bear the weight of his boss's grunting and meanness and hate. But he won't have to wait long to see the man who's hurt so many get dealt a bad hand by fate. Then there's Miss Hubbard, who cannot seem to satiate her hunger for husbands and derives fun from constant flirtation and boisterousness. One can't help but wonder if all the clamor and fuss she makes is for the sake of hiding something more serious. There's Colonel Arbuthnot and Mary Debenham, who are deliriously in love, but there's no denying they're stressed while trying their best to hide their romance. There's Michel from Paris, France, the train conductor, who seems to positively enhance the ride and abide to the passengers' needs. But is he up to something sneaky? Then we have aboard Greta Olsen, who speaks exclusively about Jesus, her savior. But even her uptight behavior seems suspicious, and she wavers when questioned or cornered for info. Someone trying not to show their anxieties is the director of the Wagenlied train company, Konstantin Buk, who is positively shook after the dead body of Ratchet is found in his compartment, stabbed 8 times. The killer won't be easy to find. But our onboard detective, Hercule Poirot, is determined to put his mind to the challenge. He scavenges for clues as he moves through lies and deceptions, diversions there to deter his excellent sense of evidence detection. The direction of the story takes another unexpected detour when the train headed for London is all of a sudden stopped by a huge snowdrift. This rude force of nature shifts the mood to a darker tone. Poirot has to hone in on his powers of observation and intuition before another murder comes to fruition. All the passengers are on a mission to prove their innocence. There is an underlying sense that many of these folks are not quite who they say they are. Matters get far stranger when Miss Mary Debenham screams out, indicating She is in danger! She is found draped over the same bed containing the dead body. She appears to be bleeding, and the mysteries are weaving more intricately. Then left on a cliffhanger. Intermission, of course. Things have gone from bad to worse, and everyone is, of course, a suspect. It's easy to detect the sense of tension. I must mention that even I am under the magnifying glass. I've got status as a Hungarian countess, and beauty and class, but that doesn't stop Poirot from asking me the hard-hitting questions. I guess all the vampish eyes I made at him didn't lessen his suspicions. There's certainly a lot hidden in these small births. The Princess Natalia Dragomirov has a sudden outburst of anger towards the eccentric Miss Helen Caroline Peabody Wolfson Van Pelt Hubbard about her constant gossiping, and the typically well-mannered princess starts tossing insults about how Miss Hubbard's many divorces are certainly her own fault. Are these insults being slung as a result of the princess biting her tongue for the journey thus far? Or are these women trying hard to put on a show to distract Poirot? Who can know in this tapestry of subterfuge? Are these people scared and unprepared for this harrowing voyage? Or is it all an elaborate ruse? Could you choose the killer confidently out of a lineup? Do you see their outward presentation of self and already make your mind up? No one signed up for this chaos, or did they? Are the answers slid under the Persian rugs in the light of day, only to play out in a sinister vase come nightfall? Amidst all the twists and turns is a repeating element about a family spurned by the murder of a little girl. Their world changed forever by a domino effect that left 5 people dead. Some have said they know of the story, others ignore the information, and a few act like it's brand new to them. Who's being genuine and who is merely choosing to pretend? How will this riveting drama end? When Michel and Bouk attempt to send for help over the radio and alert the station at Zagreb, the dread sets in deep when the storms prevent the signal from getting through, and no one knows what to do with the consequences so steep. A panic sweeps over the locomotive. Emphasis on motive. That's it. That's all I can tell you. You'll have to figure out the rest with your own powers with your own powers of observation, and pay attention to all the clues. That's all I have for you. Passengers are beginning to arrive. We must drive towards the future and mess with lights and sounds and things of that sort.
Are you filming yourself? I apologize. I was going to fix a prop.
The person from the future. I will see you next